Good morning, everyone. Well, it's not morning anymore. It's 12:12 on the clock. And welcome. The topic of psychic attack came up this morning, so I did one of my mini reads from the Lenormand Reverie, and I have a nice little message about what came up on that. And then I have the union read and the twin flame read. As my voice is breaking up, there's something that needs to be said. And I'm gonna first, let's go ahead and take our deep breath. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. I want you to really focus on getting the oxygen to the tip of your toes and the tip of your crown, the tip of your fingers and your ears, everywhere in your body. 3 long deep breaths. You might want to hold it a little bit, whatever you're comfortable with, and let it out slowly. So here we go. Take a deep breath. Let all of the stuck energies out of your body on the out breath. Take a second deep breath. Let all the trauma out of your body and your system. Take another third deep breath. And feel that hug from your own mother, you, hugging your inner child and loving yourself. Sending lots of love and blessings out to everybody. And I'm going to show you the pictures first. And then we're going to roll the die and get going. So here we have the union read here. 4D, 5D, 6D, the incoming divine feminine, the outgoing divine masculine, the underlying energies, the closing energies here from the Syrian starseed deck. And then here is the complete read for the 7-deck read, the twin flame read. Again, it is a general read, so don't force every message to fit. A lot of messages will be for you and a lot may not be for you. It's a lot of energy on the table. If you want something more specific to you, my information is below as well as on my website, twinflames3344.com. And then here's the Lenormand Reverie read that I put out that I told you about. Answering the question about the energy regarding psychic attacks that we need to know today, which was a very illuminating read, by the way. And let's go ahead and roll the die. See what else is coming up for the energies today. Today is July 8th, 2021. It's the energy of the Judgment card, which is definitely coming up in the energy all week. It came up as the main card in the read yesterday. I believe it was the center card it was in the union read and the twin flame read, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, the Judgment card has definitely been coming up a lot this week. And the number 8, which is the dance card, the strength card, the inner and outer strength, and the manifestation of our dreams. And I was definitely getting a new, really well-grounded energy when I fell asleep last night. Like literally, there's no fear. I had a whole bunch of ET entities come up in my field, and it didn't bother me at all. I was just, yeah, okay, whatever. And yeah, it was just such a weird, really well-grounded, no fear energy. And again, feeling that this morning. But now I'm picking up a little bit of stress amongst you guys. So let's go ahead and roll the die and see what's going on. Okay, we have the Uranus symbol as well as the number 2, which is the High Priestess, the Divine Feminine, the Mediator, the being able to see 2 sides of the situation. Then we have Scorpio here. Scorpio is very deep, and the well comes up in the read too here. And where are we? So we're in Cancer season. It's a very big shift in the year every year during July, going into Lionsgate. It's a big deal for the twin flame community and the starseeds. And again, with the Uranus energy, there's sudden changes. That's Aquarius. The number 2 of the High Priestess, which can represent Pisces as well, but also Aquarius in the month of February. And then the Scorpio energy, which runs very deep, very profound. It's like that phoenix rising, dealing with death and rebirth and sudden changes, and being able to see both sides at the same time, right? Being able to transmute the energies while you're in it and not be of it, like not allow those energies to affect you. As I just said, that I was feeling the stress coming from you guys, and now as we talk, maybe you can be able to feel our energies smoothing out as we start resonating with each other, whether you do or don't. If you don't resonate with someone, you're going to leave the channel or walk away. You're not going to go into getting triggered and getting into an argument or something like that. So here first is going to be the message regarding the Lenormand Reverie and psychic attack. And here's what came up regarding that, and it was perfect. The underlying energy was the book, which often has to do with the unknown, right? It's a book of knowledge, which you don't know if you haven't read that book yet. It's also like the diary of secrets and the vault, right? That keeps things really held under lock and key until you make a focused effort at opening that information, wanting to know, right? Because you won't know it until you're curious about it, right? So that's the underlying energies of the secrets and the unknown knowledge, right? Because the unknown is what causes fear in us. The first card out was the mice, which is one of the worst cards in the deck, right? Because the mice are eating away at your energies, tainting your apples, and making a mess to clean up, leaving poop behind, right? That's what mice do. It's all those things gnawing at you, a pest, really irritating things, and the need to stand up for self and or face the unknown. Why do you fear certain bugs and not others? Is it big versus small, cute versus ugly, etc.? Find out how you're polarized in different things and how to merge that back together, right? So the reason that came up too is because I was talking to my daughter yesterday, and she was seeing a couple roaches in her apartment. And, I always talk about my ants, and I have no problem with ants. And I didn't used to like ants, and I never wanted ants in my house, but it was a process of learning how to be one with the universe. I learned to actually become very fond of my little ant friends, but still not sure how to approach the roach subject, because that still may bother me a bit. I had the funniest thing. Many, many years ago, it was so funny. I was going down, I worked at University of Pennsylvania Hospital, and I was walking down to MRI, and it's a long hallway, and there's nobody there usually, right? Because radiology is a big department, and there's lots of big equipment, so there's many long hallways usually in radiology, as most of you very well know. So I was walking down the hallway, and all of a sudden I see this roach, which, there's no way around that, no matter how clean the building is, because you're in the city, and it's just there. But anyway, there was a roach walking down the hallway, but it wasn't just the roach. It was carrying the biggest puffball of dust. It was like, 100 times the size of the roach. And I just wish I had a picture of that, because it was just such a funny irony, in a hospital. So again, something more friendly, a more friendly energy to approach the roach, so to speak. And it was funny because my daughter, I didn't think she would deal with that very well, but actually she had named them. So that's another way of becoming more resonant with them, because you get on a more personal level. All of a sudden you start to understand each other better, and it's 12:21 on the clock. So giving them a name, so maybe labels aren't so bad. Maybe there's a reason for labels, so we can actually identify which is which, and so that we can become more familiarized with something. So there's that. But anyway, so big versus small, how are you polarized in how you see things, right? So ants are tiny, so maybe they're easier to deal with than something like a roach. Cute versus ugly. And then the fox power man comes up, the angry man, right, in power, when unable to control these out of control pests. Plotting the right moment on the moon cycle, which we're in right now, the Cancer Center, to broach a sticky subject perhaps, with kid gloves at the mid-moon, again around 7/17 keeps coming up, which would be the week of around July 13th to the 19th, not the new moon that's coming up tomorrow, and not the full moon around the 23rd. To ascend to two higher options instead of the lower vibrational options perhaps, ascending in that Y in the road, two as one, then branching out with two different doors to choose from. Dogs versus wild little critters, perhaps. Maybe now dogs don't look so bad if you were against having a dog before, because now the little critters are taking over the place, or maybe your dogs are the little critters taking over the place. It's all in your perspective. Loyalty versus taking the lead, right? What does the dog do? They beg you to take them for a walk. They want you to put a leash on them and take the lead. Sunshine versus full energy and full exposure of the polar opposite. The mother bear taking the lead, pushing a letter, a document, or agenda to the powers that be, the establishment, and the cross to bear the burden of wearing many faces, the jackal and the fox, or the hide, the embalmment or medical cures, playing with mummies and underlying oaths, medical and military experiments, and their underlying wings, which again references a certain kind of oath, and the power man, the powers that be, offering a gift of venom as the bacteria that gets in the oyster or clam to shut them up or suck it up, to find your spiritual cleansing, peace, calm, and maturity. It's always your choice. Do you want to be controlled by the powers that be, or by your own knowing? To break through from the dark to the light, remember the bacteria that gets into the oyster or clam eventually produces that pearl. So no matter what you're dealing with, you can always transmute it and make it something beautiful. It's all in the perspective. Dark to light regarding loyalties, the sunshine and exposure of direction, pointing at the polar bear of restriction, right? The mother is the cold energy, the nothingness of the divine feminine. The polar bear of restriction and Saturnian in a way, calling out the bull publicly. Info of wise counsel, or perhaps just wise old owls, a hoot, grounding and flying, two of a kind, sharing their knowledge from experience in writing or writing a book, or journaling or blogging, whatever it is, or speaking. To navigate the labyrinth of the establishment and red tape and blueprints. And then right at that moment when I wrote the blueprints, at 11:20, which is justice and judgment, which is today, judgment, a beautiful orange butterfly flew by my front window. One centered at the vortex at 0 point, while others still working their way through. Perhaps they're a bit zombie-ish or not quite awakened. The rings of the cyclone, the veil, showing whether you are committed to them or to self. Do you want to stay in the cyclone, or do you want to get out and be in the vortex? The insane asylum, or just asylum, is a place that others have given you, assigned you, when actually there's no place like home. As within, so without. As well runs deep and dries out, the mountain stands the test of time with its own power and command through its inner beauty and wisdom, and reflecting out those things. And yes, the mountain's love and wisdom can be overwhelming at times and intimidating at 11:29 as Spirit's connecting with me. 11 is justice, 29 is the Three of Wands, being present in the moment, the gift of the moment. It can be overwhelming and intimidating, for it too has multiple faces and consciousness. The power lady, connected to the fox in the countryside, and the jackal and the tomb, right? Jacqueline, Dr. Jackal, is it? Yeah, Dr. Jackal, Mr. Hyde, Mr. Hyde. Anyway, it's confusing me for some reason, but that's the whole point, because the confusion is the point here. The power lady, and connected to the fox and the countryside and the jackal and the tomb, the book of knowledge eating away at them, sees the key to release. It's a gift between the power man and the power woman, leaving the snake behind in Cancer season, or next week at 11:33, which is justice and the Christ vibration, or unity consciousness. The Seven of Wands, and standing up for oneself, which that's this that's coming up multiple times in this read. Leaving the snake behind. What do you choose? Do you choose to allow the snake to bite you? Or do you leave the snake behind in Cancer season or next week to take a ride on the rainbow or deliver good news? Take a stab at the brass ring with any luck on a more spiritual path, to become a star or to allow your dreams to come true. With her own breakthrough, burning twin bridges, perhaps with a child, with an idea of being a mother or being a mother again, or being the baby of the family and owned by the mother. Public property, Park Place, or boardwalk perhaps. A contract or agreement with family that needs a closer look to ID or navigate the confusing puzzle presented by the establishment to do exactly that, to confuse you, to cause fear, to lower your vibration. So, and there's interference there. That's a scam. Oh my God. All right, that scam likely call was from Washington, D.C., okay? If that wasn't a sync, I don't know what is, all right? So navigating the confusing puzzle presented by the establishment, and then I just got a scam call from Washington, D.C., to do exactly that, to confuse you, cause fear, to lower your vibration. So instead, see it for what it is, a puzzle with a loving man waiting on the other side who had a lot of burdens and whose well ran dry and now is abundant after dealing with two-faced or three-faced people and mountains to climb. Their timelines collapsing as the collective is chirping, which is the key, along with two storks nesting and looking up, collecting sunshine as space between them in their home at the Y in the road, on the merry-go-round, or the snake that lit a fire under the horse's foot, taking a risk using the luck of the calla lily, the etheric body, on the stairway to heaven, cracking the whip and keeping a tight ship. The rod and staff takes a lickin' and keeps on tickin', with hopes and dreams and the break through the storm. Loyalty to self is to all. The ring of commitment, the circle of trust, the ruby red slippers and garnet for bug that ails you. Ding, ding. I got double ding on that when I wrote that. Two hearts as one, being the child and mother all in one, out in public. Loving swans travel far and wide in search of the anchor, with help from information, wise counsel, family and history or Akashic records, and finding out that the anchor that had been cut upon closer look was actually the powers that be keeping you in a holding pattern, with loving lady waiting on the other side of that separation in her abundance, along with that loving man now in union, homecoming, finally home, where there's no place like home, the rod and staff unions. There was your read. So really beautiful. If you don't believe it, we've never had so many profound reads come up in a row. It's really powerful energy right now. So stay in your knowing. Don't allow others to change your perspective. Only you should change your perspective. So here's the union read. And after I did my reads yesterday, this was so interesting. So some stuff I'd seen on my run yesterday. I went out for a run. I'd gotten back around 3:51, which is the Empress and the King of Swords, and it was really hot outside yesterday. And right as I got home, a dog ran across the street, leaving their owner behind. And of course she yelled after him so he wouldn't get hit by a car. A little terrier dog. And then I noticed some of the imprints on the street, from the township working on the streets, and one of the codes was RCP, and lots of energies of the Aquarius symbol, which the Aquarius came up today, and they're all over the street next to mine, the Aquarius symbol, so a lot of sudden changes. And then there was MB, which is my beloved, right, for the masculine, and 150, and that's 0 behind the 15 of the devil or shadow energy, clearing the shadow. Again, the 3 Aquarius signs across the bottom of the street with also storm warnings, all right, sudden storm warnings, so multiples, not just one, but multiples. And I was also thinking of that blue-purple feather that I am trying to manifest. And then I was trying to use reverse psychology by wishing for blue-purple trash instead, because I always see trash on the street. When I'm looking for something blue, I'll start seeing blue trash everywhere instead of a feather. So it didn't work, because as soon as I said that, I saw a piece of trash with blue on it. And then they were guiding me to run down the middle of the street, slightly on the left side, but in the middle. And then they were guiding me to look back and forth like a tennis match. And I was seeing the blue markings on the sidewalk. They were making me nuts with seeing all the blue all around me. And then I actually saw a little piece that I thought was a rock flash a little bit of blue in the corner of my eye. So I picked it up, and it ends up being a piece of wood, I think. I'm not sure exactly, but I think it's wood, not rock. So you never know what it is until you do, right? So, and then as I got home, I looked at my key ring, and there's a little tag on my key ring, and I don't remember where it's from, but it had the number 10904, so I looked it up. And the things that came up, the first was an address in North Carolina, a home for sale, which is funny, in the Charlotte area. And then under the government website, ncbi.nlm.nih.gov, was a gene ID update. And that was a gene code. And that was dated from August 11th, 17. And then something else that same time came up, so that same time period. So here's a genetic ID that a list had been updated regarding that gene, LOC 109043109, on August 11, 17. And that was titled Regulating Synaptic Membrane Exocytosis Protein 2. And that's totally above my head, so anyone who does gene work, they may be able to comment below if they know. And the organism was Benicia tabaci or tabasi or tabasci. I don't know how it's pronounced. It's Tabaci. And actually, CI came up in my code yesterday when I wrote sex and the CITY, which I don't know if you got that, but it can come up a couple different ways. But you notice that CI can be another spelling of key. And then TY, as you all know, is thank you or gratitude. So the key to gratitude was coming up as city. And then who owns Briggs and Stratton Corp. also came up there with a CUSP number of 109043109. And the chart line under that started at July 17. And that could be the end, which is, just a week or two away from the 8/11/17 date that just came up prior to that. Something significant about that time period, which is that's actually the last time I saw my twin as well. And then the question about who sold out of Briggs and Stratton Corp., which I have no idea what that company is, and it listed two entities: Parametric Portfolio Association from 12/20/20 sold, and then Lisa Snyder 12/20/20 sold. And then under RCP was realclearpolitics.com came up. It's actually under www.realclearpolitics.com, which I keep a running stat on all of the political races. And that was 6/21/21. And then RCP also came up as First Judicial District of Pennsylvania, which came up from the courts of Philadelphia.gov. And Masonry Supplies, RCP Block and Brick in San Diego came up. Also, RIT came up on the side, Capital Partners, which was so weird because it wasn't part of the search, it was on the side. But it's a British investment firm, which was formerly the Rothschild Investment Trust. And that was founded in 1961, which was the year I was born, by Jacob and Baron, I think it's Baron, Rothschild, both of them, and they had 78 employees. So then also military energy of the storm, right? So military storm, the key, the gene, the 10904, North Carolina, but also NC, right? no comment, or how there's so many definitions for NC. And then there was no zip code that came up under 10904 either. It wasn't, you weren't able to found. It's unknown, which just came up in the read we just did. And also the symbol, I never noticed this before, in the judgment card, there's a symbol of, I never really understood the card, so I went back to read it in the book. And there's a picture of like a heart within like a rectangular, like a soft rectangle shape. And that came up in a message for a client last week. And with someone like rolling it like it was a lock combination, like you'd roll with your finger to change it. But it was a heart, and a heart's not round, so how can it roll? It's heart-shaped, so I couldn't figure that out. But then I was getting I looked it up in the book for the Syrian Starseed deck, and the judgment card represents mastering. It's like what I was looking at, the heart in the rectangle, is like a master key. And it really focused on clearing for a huge leap in your evolution, and forgiveness needed there for self and others, very much so. So that was important. And then here's the union read of 4D, 5D, 6D at 427, which is the Emperor, and the 27 of the Ace of Wands, that ignition of a new passion for today, which is July 8, 2021. The underlying energy was the Knight of Wands, the central energy, Karma, and the closing energy was the Knight of Pentacles. And so 2 knights, I was just getting 2 knights that beat as one, right? So it's 2 hearts. But for some reason that was just coming up as 2 knights. But 2 knights also references 2 nights, which is tonight and the 9th, which then leaves you on the 10th of July. And then the Knight of Wands with a slow burn, a royal knight with a shaved chest, sexy and confident, hanging back with flame, judging the Knight of Pentacles, regal indigo, loyal humble servant with a rock, one hooded and one not, in a wake-up call to the lotus opening, the lotus or the crown opening, the key to clear the path for that huge step in your evolution, forgiveness of others and self. The incoming divine feminine here was the High Priestess, the 4 of Wands, and the 9 of Cups. The higher self in the plasma ethers with soft pastels in the background. 2 flames of 4 flames at the castle, or 6 rays of 9, of light granting your wish. A Thai little man in underground or marble encasement with service for 9, perhaps preparing for a dinner party. Perhaps a service or a celebration or a function. The Knight of Wands getting going with his higher self, or lighting a fire under their sister's butt to plan the event. The 4D here is the Queen of Cups, 9 of Wands, and the 3 of Cups. The Divine Feminine, Queen of Cups in the falls by day, and in the water under the bridge at night, 4 to 5 fire and 9 to 10 water, just in case the fire gets out of hand. The hot sun, but cool down below, the Divine Masculine reunion or small gathering of family or friends, or out on the town, or rehearsal dinner for upcoming nuptials. Bridging with the 6 of Wands, good news coming in and leading the way, fire taking over, 5 flames, with the 3 cups on one side and 1 on the other, like the 4 of Cups, with dramatic good news between them. And the 4 of Cups is all about boredom and apathy, or grounding and integrating what you've just experienced. It's all in your perspective and what you choose. The 5D here is the King of Wands, the Karma and alchemy. The Divine Feminine, King of Wands shaman, perhaps Leo, to master the drama. And the Divine Masculine alchemizing Sagittarius, or mixing drinks, or expanding. The patient angel becoming something else. The shaman and the alchemist, bridging in mastering karma and the key to forgiveness and opening the crown. The 6D here is the Page of Swords, 5 of Swords, and the 2 of Wands, of the Divine Feminine with cold, evergreen message, finding the light in the dark. The Divine Masculine, twin flames and remote viewing, astral projection, and taking a larger perspective, bridging the Jack of all trades, mastering the Frog to Prince for their resume at 510, which is the Hierophant, and a turn for the better in the Wheel of Fortune. At 511, the Hierophant and Justice, which is truth and balance, and the 5 also being freedom and change and expansion, conquering Mount Everest, while she is evergreen, a faceless heart with no expression, juggling on the jetties in the mists of Avalon, where the joker and juggler meet poker face. The Divine Feminine focuses on child and Divine Masculine on twin flames, both stretching and growing, being at your service with an emerald order. The outgoing Divine Masculine here is the 2 swords, the Ace of Swords, and the 10 of Pentacles, knowing and floating on air, serving with blinders on, balancing orbs while dolphin waits beneath the water. They're ready to play with your balls. Theirs is magenta emerald, so their ball is magenta emerald and buoy, but the masculine, or yours, is silvery and hard metallic, while back at the Garden of Prayer, the family, business, or community is waiting for Greek order. So the Divine Feminine here is the Queen of Cups, the King of Wands, and the Page of Swords, all on different paths. The 4D Lap of Luxury, the 5D Shaman, and the 6D Child with light in the mountains. Bali or Hawaii coming up here, Phoenix or Sedona, and Shasta perhaps, or Buffalo or Ashland mountains. The Divine Masculine socializing are coming together to alchemize 2 flames. The bridge here is success in leading the way with followers through forgiveness, mastering and achievement with top scores, and wanting to juggle some more. So again, it's not about the achievement, it's about the journey. The Divine Masculine knowing the truth, or presenting to the family who probably already knows what they want to tell them. The Knight of Pentacles proposing perhaps a city of white buildings and crystal lights. Higher 4 of 9 of hearts, not quite half, while 2 of 1 of heaven on earth propose 2 knights come together to help. The Divine Feminine had Pisces and perhaps Cancer, Sag, Leo, and Gemini on their side, with the Knight of Wands, Queen of Cups, King of Wands, and Page of Swords on her side. The Divine Masculine with only Sagittarius, and the Knight of Pentacles, the humble, loyal servant, and between them, Aquarius, Karma, or Karmic. So the number that came up overall for this read in the number grid is 42, which is the 2 of Cups, right? 2 as 1. Which were coming up as 2 knights as 1, and then what else was coming up in the read? I know I can't remember. But again, being on the same page and then choosing the different paths, as opposed to 2 paths and not coming together. 2 hearts that beat as 1, and then always having, 2 doors to open. They always get to choose what they want to do. The horizontal pillars were coming up as 7, 0, and 35, which is the Chariot, Source, or Space, and the Wounded Warrior, or 9 of Wands. And the vertical pillars came up as 4, 9, 11, 5, 2, 1, and 10, or the Emperor, Hermit, Justice, Hierophant, High Priestess, Magician, and the Wheel going into the 2 of Cups. Two in love, seeing 1-to-1, or partnerships, mediating, seeing eye to eye, face to face, heart to heart. So the message came up here as a bold move to source a wounded warrior partner, or the 9 of Wands, which is, right, that victim mentality, the wounded warrior, which we start out in a human form as the wounded warrior. We don't become, we've already been wounded by being plants and animals and rocks. And then we have the Emperor and the Hermit, and justice and commitment with secret magic destined with the 2 of Cups connection. The 9 of Cups wish granted, the justice for the Hierophant, High Priestess, and Magician, or their divine marriage destined to be the 2 of Cups connection, that very high vibrational psychic connection. So then the twin flame read is cut and dealt here at 6:36. This, of course, was done yesterday on 7/7. For today, 7/8. The Sirius deck was cut and dealt at 6:36, which is the Lovers and the Atlas energy, the 10 of Wands of the Weight of the World, along with the energy of the 2 Cups, the Two of Cups with the Sun and the Ace of Wands was major energy in this read, because the Ace of Wands was along with the Lovers upright as well. Now the Ace of Wands was reversed, but the Lovers was upright. The Two of Cups was reversed with the Sun. And the Sun, I'm thinking it was upright. Yeah, Sun was upright. So each, there's mixed energies here. The Two of Cups is reversed, which can be disconnected, not seeing eye to eye, or at a distance and not wanting to be. Along with the Sun, which is happiness and full energy, vacation, but also full exposure. And also then the Ace of Wands reversed can be frustration and inability to understand or find humor or get aroused, along with the Lovers, which is that divine connection, that divine physical connection of beauty. So there's, it's like a mixed bag here. The 646 here, 6 is the Lovers, 46 is the Six of Cups, the children hugging each other in the Syrian Starseed deck. And then MES comes up, which is the plural of me, right? Me's, or we, which in French is may or our, right? And then also F, love, which for me doesn't mean the F in the vulgar way. It means expansion and contraction, which has to do with reflection of love. And we, right? We have the me's here. The me's, reflection of love. At 649, which is the Lovers, and the 49 of the Nine of Cups, the cards behind the love, the Emperor, Lovers, the Two of Cups, the Three of Wands, and the Empress. All right, so if you look straight ahead, these cards here, the Emperor's on one side, the Empress is on the other. And in between is the Lovers, the Two of Cups, and the Three of Wands, which is the gift of the present moment. Very profound, okay? They're not all upright, but it doesn't matter. The fact that those energies are here is the whole point, that union is imminent. And then we have the Sun upright right next to that on the side here with the Magician and the synchronicities of the Seven of Cups. So at 7, one more to say. At 7 o'clock on the dot, which is double zeros behind the 7, a lot of source energy backing up the Chariot, oh shoot came up. And then it was about the Seven of Swords, which the way it was covered was showing like balls in a chute, like a laundry chute in an apartment building, and tossing things down that chute. It was kind of like the Kaplunk game too, like on The Price is Right. But ultimately what I was getting is honing in your channeling abilities. But that was anything that was hidden. It's like, oh shoot. And then getting out what had been hidden, that you hadn't accessed before, and now all of a sudden you can. So we completed this read at 7:04, which is the 7 of Chariot and the 4 of the Emperor, which also is a reflection of 407, which for me, 4 and 7 are the sweet spot, right? It's the middle of the number range. It's the sweet spot, just airing to the side of light or to the left, which is the divine feminine energy. And then the number 4, so 7 is the Chariot, 4 is the Emperor. And again, it's the Emperor with space between him and the vehicle of ascension. And the major arcana here, reflection of the Hermit, solar deity of the Sun, reason of the Emperor, hanging man, the shadow of the devil, and before the read, Chariot and the Great Wheel coming up, and after the read, the Lovers and Justice, which is truth and balance of the Lovers. We had 1 cup, 9 swords, 2 pentacles, and 1 wand. So very well balanced, and you notice it comes up as 1221, which also came up multiple times yesterday and today. 1221 is that energy of the conjunction of the Star of Bethlehem in December, when Jupiter and Saturn conjunct, going from Capricorn to Aquarius. And the Knight of Swords and the King of Pentacles were here with the Queen of Cups before the read, and that was it. So the Knight of Swords, the Messenger of Truth, or the Knight in Shining Armor, along with the King of Pentacles, which in this deck is the Akashic Records as well, the Crystal Skull. And then we had triple sixes here. Okay, so a lot about Dharma, the love, family, and community, the Lovers. And again, 6 times 3 is 18 of the moon. And the moon's been cleared. So there's a different perspective now of that satellite. We have the 77 of the sovereign energy. right? Being sovereign, the 77 of very spiritual energy on that spiritual path. And then the 10 of very high vibration, the 12 of the hanging man, again, seeing new perspectives and being wise. And also we have besides the 12, 21, 77, and 666, is the 67 of the loyal, humble servant, and the 10 of the high vibration, the 12 of the wisdom, the 27 of the ace of wands, right? That ignition of new passion, the 710 of 0 behind 71, which for me is the card of co-creation, the 3 of pentacles. And then in a lesser sense, the 24 of the queen of wands and the 46 of the children, which is that 6 of cups, which is, past memories. And the children, the innocence of the children, right? Those loving memories. So the read was all about self-love, but also self and love, also selling expansion and contraction or reflection of love. And here's the way the message came out. Sophia Source saying aid and hanging out with the 2 of cups, the 2 as 1, in a destined high vibration of the self-love. And again, selling the reflection of love. The path of the Arabic Sadeh, the name, or the path of happiness without tea or without a time out. Hanging out as the 2 of hearts or the 2 of cups in tent he lives in. The tent he lives in, or tenting perhaps. The tent he lives in, a good noble man in a shed on a mountain pasture, a salt cell, to be self, soul, a castle of rock formed from the waves to flower and just be, perhaps with a seal, shells, or flood down below, expanding and contracting or reflecting self-love. And this was so cool that this kind of shack was coming up, because I literally watched 2 movies back to back regarding that. Let's see where it was. So, all right, so the 2 movies I had watched was on the 6th, so not yesterday, but the day before, that night. And it finished at 12:21, by the way. As I just told you, 12:21 keeps coming up. The 2 movies were The Dream Seller, which was about a homeless wise man who literally lived in who lived on the street, and then Hampstead, which is about a man who lived in a shack. But he didn't need to, he just wanted to. He was very natural, he created his own energy and all that kind of stuff. But people saw him as a bum, where he was actually not costing anyone anything because he was, living on his own energy. So this is very important regarding that energy of self-love. And the man who lives in a shack, right? That, don't judge someone on what you see, because you have no idea what they actually are or how they're actually living or what they've been through. Because in both of those movies, they had left something behind, Well, in the first movie, had lost a whole lot, with family. And then the second one, I'm not sure, I can't remember if he lost anything or if he was just, had a difficult personality, Maybe people didn't resonate with him a lot of his life, so he just wanted to live apart from society. So again, those energies there, and to be able to calm, to still, to pacify and quiet yourself without source or oracle or fortune teller or poet. To aid, or perhaps Addie energy, hanging out with the 2 of cups, high vibing or tent that he lives, to reflect upon love. The Sophia coming up as the wise teacher, with a shingle, yew tree, and chalk and compassion, perhaps with a fruit drink and love, perhaps a younger maternal aunt, or water, maybe she's got a double chin, or weed, island, and father, saying farewell, adieu, hanging the 2 of cups tent where he sells self-love. Okay, so very lovely energy there. All right, so then the read starts out with reflection, of course, upright of the Hermit and the Virgo energy. And beneath that, 5 cards down, starting from the bottoms up, Chariot, 6 of Swords, 6 of Cups, all upright, and then the Wheel reversed, and then the Queen of Cups was upright here. Underneath, reflection of the Hermit. So there's a bold move to peace, to travel, to the Six of Cups, innocent love, partners, kids, or loving past and memories. In a downturn or twist of fate, which is also a retrograde motion of the wheel, at 7:51, which is the Chariot and the King of Swords. With the Queen of Cups reflecting, or she is the Hermit or Virgo perhaps, or she could be a professional or old wise woman, but the Queen of Cups is coming up as reflecting, or Cancer, who finds peace, with the Six of Cups soulmate or kids or loving past. And no luck for the Queen of Cups upright, loving, kind intuition. As a woman, as a Hermit or Virgo here, Magician is reversed, conflicted, and pushed to their emotional limits, or Gemini or Virgo reversed, insecure, without tools, ending a battle of purging wills, with the Queen of Pentacles Hermit, with loving kids and or a soulmate, and loving memories of a message of love. I was also, as I started saying about being pushed to their emotional limits, I was getting the image of the mountain. To remember, when we're being pushed to the emotional limits is because we're becoming that mountain, right? How long did it take the mountain to become that way, right? So there's her two sides. The Queen of Pentacles and Queen of Cups could be her two sides, or they could be two different good women, Cancer and Virgo coming up here, and impatient Gemini or Virgo reversed also, losing their cool and sweating it out. Or the Queen of Pentacles upright and her little sister, the Queen of Cups, or vice versa, the Knight of Cups offering love to the Devil, or Capricorn, who's not expressing their feelings in the past, on behalf of the Queen of Pentacles and perhaps their child who's just like them, the Sovereign reversed, or her dependent daughter announcing, judging, or calling the Queen of Cups upright, or Sovereign reversed, powerless, or kicking on the boards, or kicking around the idea of calling the Queen of Cups. The Nine of Pentacles reversed, feeling imbalanced, which was interesting too, right? Because my daughter called me last night. So, or this is the energy of the seesaw waking up people to catch them when they fall. Or Sovereign reversed, dependent and powerless to wake up to a wake-up call from the Queen of Cups. Or the Queen of Pentacles upright and the Knight of Cups are powerless to an announcement or call of the Queen of Cups, reflecting. And maybe that person reflecting their own feelings will then bring up something for you that you didn't see before. So knowing and keeping to themselves, the King of Swords reversed, awakening, or had a bright idea to make a bold move, or had a sudden realization about a Cancer, a move, a trip, or a vehicle. Understanding sword, all of a sudden understanding the sword and the coin, now I get it. The sword are his arms and the coin is his head and crown. The warrior awakened very soon with the soulmate beneath them. Dark High Priestess or Pisces with low cleavage released from energetic prison and leaving in avoidance due to no passion and no funny bone, or no humorous DNA about the hairy ape, or somebody probably teasing someone who's very hairy, or just being judged as not having a funny bone in their body. Or the High Priestess with keys to release energetic prison, but afraid to dance as he may step on her heart again and hide dessert because he thinks she's too fat, while he's actually thinking about Dream Girl on a raft in the moat, measuring knee-toe reaction or toe-knee distance, the fish birds above her and two dark goats in his pockets or always clinging to his sides, and then surrender of the 91 with compassion beneath it, 99. And Agent 99 just came up there with get smart. So the smart guy is surrendering with 99's compassion and powerlessness here. Lovers reversed with the Queen of Wands upright and the Hermit upright in separation. The Queen of Swords reversed is falling on their face or from grace. And then when I said falling from grace, I was cracking up because my mother's middle name is Grace. So I literally fell out of her. I fell from grace. So that can be too. Maybe you fell from a mother whose name was Grace. And actually, my great aunt's name was Grace as well. So 824 is the strength and the 24 of the Queen of Wands. Or this could be lacking faith in alternative practice, spirituality, or divorce, or breaking contract. at 824 again, or the Queen of Swords is a foolish lawyer for the Taurus reversed, or she has Aries and or Taurus in her chart, or Gemini Queen of Swords reversed and the Queen of Wands upright with Taurus in their chart, or Virgo and the baton and ring are up in the air with no royal lineage, and or 3 falling here. Taurus, Aries, and Gemini all reversed right here, and Virgo is upright with the light and upholding the light, or upright energy here. Taurus reversed and Virgo upright, or divorced and reflecting the Queen of Cups Cancer, or going the distance as the Divine Feminine in 5D, or traveling to Pisces reversed, who may be feeling powerless in surrender at 831, strength in the 31 of the 5 of Wands, expanding and contracting, freedom, expansion, change. Or perhaps a dependent daughter is feeling powerless, or making a big purchase, or investing to become single again. The underlying energy, unable to sleep, awake and in pain, betrayed and rejected, or vulnerable, or one in great pain and the other is feeling completely helpless in doing anything about it for them or helping them. The Emperor's reversed, in going past this read, the Emperor's reversed, and these are the 5 behind the love sign there that we talked about earlier. The Emperor's actually reversed, right, which can mean he's out of control regarding abusing his power, or he's losing his power because he's stepping down from power, or because he's getting old and he can't do what he used to do. Maybe his mind isn't working like it used to. But the Emperor's coming up as the Lovers in disconnect or at a distance, at present or with a gift for the Empress who's upright here. Or he with a lover while the Empress is presently away on vacation or at a distance, in the sunshine or with kids and pets, or Leo insecure without tools to choose just one, or really manipulative to get everything they want. And that could be someone out with their kids where they just cave in to whatever their kids want. You know, especially when out shopping on vacation. Or the Empress is exposing all, but insecure about taking a gamble on the one. In the recent past is the hanging man or woman, awake, divided, or in a split or big lie, dumping a load or seeing synchronicities and heaven in their eyes, or dropping a load on just the right one and deciding between 2, because if they don't get a gift just right, the wounded warrior will make them pay on their last leg and getting over the loss and regret and reaping rewards of negative self-talk. Or the Page of Swords reversed is lying and spying and spreading rumors in a divorce or a break from religion or establishment or the way things are usually done, or trying to make up for cheating. And perhaps there's 2 wounded warriors or twin wounded warriors who are just not having it, with the Page of Swords reversed especially. The foundation here, no reason, or Emperor reversed out of control, or in reflecting alone, without a reason or rhyme, released from anxiety, or perhaps prison for a debt, inequity, or scam with the King of Wands who's upright here, and the world is upside down, or Pisces reversed in the Divine Feminine in 5D, with the Empress upright in bliss with the King of Wands here, where the worst is now over of the extreme pain, and the central energy here is the sun and full exposure, happiness and energy, but in need of courage and good health, or exposing Leo, ego, kids or pets who are out of control. The Knight of Swords reversed may definitely be an Aquarius, or depressed, or arrogant, or fire sign. And there could be a fire sign and air sign here who have had it with each other. The Knight of Swords reversed and the Queen of Wands reversed, where she's ignoring them reaching out, and issues at work, separation, and heartbreak, with Leo both upright and reversed here. And that's right there is where my daughter called it 855, which is strength and the truth of the Excalibur. The challenge being here, and remember we're talking about the mountain, so here we have the sword and the stone. The strength to pull that sword out of your own stone, right? The heart made of stone that's become cold over time because of the wounding of the sword. The 951 is the Hermit and the King of Swords. The sword and the stone, right? The King of Swords with the swords, and the Hermit who's gone within and blocked everyone, right? They're alone. The challenge being the 2 of Cups reversed, the disconnect or the distance, being satisfied after a sudden event or epiphany, or resisting a sudden change and getting their wish. Frustrated, King of Pentacles upright with unhappy family or lacking emotional fulfillment, and the Knight of Cups offering love. The Queen of Swords talking about the downturn, the retrogrades, or the twist of fate, being satisfied in separation with disappointment or distant pain. This also could be some kind of karmic retribution of a higher love. Patience and balance, where now the worst is over of bleeding out with issues at work and taking the show on the road, or perhaps that third party through work and taking that show on the road. So now in the present moment is the shadow web of the King of Swords reversed, or Capricorn walking away and within with all their tools on board but no peace, in a divorce perhaps, and the Page of Swords reversed as the mailman walks up to my door right now. The Page of Swords reversed and talking back to the Queen of Cups, so that could be a child talking back to the Queen of Cups, or they could be spreading lies or rumors. Or the King of Swords reversed is the Page of Swords is the negative self-talk of the King of Swords reversed. And that could be where the King of Swords reversed is the negative self-talk in her head. Temptation making him weak, like the Page of Cups, vulnerable child who can't express their feelings. The Knight of Pentacles reversed being stuck, stubborn, or unable to function after sudden events, sudden epiphanies, or sex. Or third party, an embarrassing self. No longer obsessing about a home, marriage, or a move or visit. The King of Wands is being an angel and rushing back to check on things. Or that could be the Knight of Wands, rather. Feminine justice with 2 spoons of sugar, perhaps. Or no big love at work, or only through third-party lover. The Ten of Pentacles reversed family, business, or community dysfunction or loss, causing them to defend their business and or third-party lover. Soon here's the Seven of Swords running away, passing downloads, and the King of Pentacles defenseless to their gifts or being in the present moment. Funneling orbs or channeling a very specific delivery, being present and sticking their thoughts and ideas or stealing their thoughts and ideas from self-satisfied or arrogant man, Dark Knight Death, and or Scorpio offering a new life or paying restitution for a deception and not having told, for delays in communication and or travel and no passion, or only petty arguing about unstable home, unable to conceive of, defenselessness and no excuse as to why. The twin flames are seeing themselves as the Knight of Swords reversed, holding their tongues or lashing out and lying, Hierophant finding peace, traveling, or kids going back and forth. Out on the cold, injured or lost, and then an announcement or judgment without cost, like finding something that doesn't cost anything but maybe helping. Making a call to lover to invite, temptation waving, with the Hermit lighting the way, Taurus, Aquarius, and Gemini, Capricorn, and Virgo all upright here, where Taurus is leaving and Capricorn is saying, adios, amigos, or lovers or Gemini offering an opportunity to a devilish old man, or Aquarius, Taurus, and or Capricorn going to get advice from a hermit, professional, elder, or Virgo. Let your friends help comes up for the twins, as well as healing family issues and staying optimistic. And also, it is safe to love, and new love comes up. Under these guys, a new passion has stirred your romantic feelings. As the phone rings in the background. Around the twins, and this is something that's, nagging you in the background, constantly eating away at you inside. So around the twins, or how they're seen, as the King of Pentacles, the King of Cups with an advisor or an aide, helping to rise above, awaken and or come out, suffering in silence, or a sister in disconnect or at a distance, getting over loss and or regret at 1014, which is the Wheel and the Temperance card of patience, balance, and a higher love. At 1015, which is then switching to the Devil, is the Pisces and or Virgo or Aquarius here. And the movie I watched last night, which is What Dreams May Come. So if you haven't watched that in a long time, you might want to revisit that again, because boy, is that talk about twins. It literally talks about the twin soul. And I definitely shed a few tears at the end of that movie. and that was at 10:44 to 12:28. So the block here being for the twins is the Ten of Pentacles reversed, dysfunction or loss, in a heated or negative exchange, or reaping rewards of instability or needing to work on the house. Self-love comes up here, but even more so moderation. Together or distant, so people together but not getting along, or apart yet close and wanting to be together. The Knight of Cups offering love, and frustrated with lover exposing the Emperor reversed, who's letting go to fix or make amends, or kids helping them, or driving the Emperor reversed crazy, the Emperor suddenly light. Or I don't know why I wrote it this way. The Hermit is suddenly shedding light. I was getting white light, but I actually wrote shedding light while the Dark Knight, or Scorpio Virgo, faces the King of Swords reversed, receiving love at a distance. Virgo and Scorpio upright here where Aries is reversed, and Gemini is also upright but not sleeping, awakening, needing strength to work, align, or get their ducks in a row, and the Page of Wands reversed is frustrated or refusing one of two choices or creative projects. Just keeping their head down and working, rising above, coming out about justice, divorce, or Libra, and the Divine Feminine's heart in the E Tower under the radar, with justice on top or justice for all. So we have the Hermit, reflection, and the Emperor reversed without reason or being unreasonable, lashing out or holding their tongue, as there's a little gnat trying to come into my mouth. Lashing out or holding their tongue with the King of Pentacles ideas or awakening, feeling energized, sunshine, vacation, or full exposure, and challenged by the Two of Cups reversed in a disconnect or at a distance, in honing in their channeling abilities, passing downloads about the Ten of Pentacles family reversed, dysfunction or loss, or spending addictions, or codependencies, or Capricorn frustrated and coming out, unable to sleep, rising above justice, divorce, and reaping rewards of the Divine Feminine's heart under the radar, and or feeling a failure and needing justice for all. The Queen of Cups reflecting, or Virgo awake to spirituality, the Emperor reversed without an excuse, or out of control, being exposed, or in the sun about codependencies and or temptations. The challenge being the Two of Cups reversed in disconnect or at a distance, and the Knight of Swords reversed keeping quiet and working on passing messages. The King of Pentacles with family issues and frustrated, can't sleep and or going through a divorce, and the Divine Feminine doesn't know that justice prevails, where truth and balance always come out in the end, or Libra rises to the top, or is the judge of the land at 10:35, which is the Wheel of Fortune, and the 35 of the Wounded Warrior. And that can represent too that the masculine leads, not the feminine. That was very interesting. So what dreams may come. So let's go ahead and pull a few cards for you guys from the Animal Spirit Guidebook. It's 10340 here, which is the Magician, the Empress, and the Page of Cups. And it's 116 on my clock, which is the Magician and the Tower. So what's going on with the Empress and the Magician and the Page of Cups and a Tower moment? So Virgo, Taurus, and Pisces, perhaps? Got Scorpio there too with the Tower. All right, let's see. What does the Animal Spirit deck have to say for you today? Take a deep breath. All right, with the Elephant. Beautiful, right? The elephant is so wise, they never forget. They are the king of the land. They are the largest animal. And there we have them along with the fish who never stops. They keep moving. You notice there's very little color in both of these cards. The elephant holds the flame. It's like the mother holding the flame and has their third eye there. And it's very Indian energy with the third eye there, right, with the dot. But we also have the fire of Africa. So definitely the elephants coming up from the Asian and the African elephants and the different kinds so that you can tell the difference between them. And then the fish who never stop. They could be a little bit scattered. They're both coming out of the dark. And so is the beaver. Look at that. But there's no light around the beaver. It's only up here. There's a little bit like yellow-green energy up there. So the fish has the red, almost new moon, and tomorrow's the new moon. So it's like the energy of, of that fire being lit at the new moon, of needing to get going and not stop. And the beaver is a workaholic, right? So it's just that energy, right, of people working too hard, right? This one never stops. This one never forgets. And this one never rests. Never forgets, never stops, never rests. Okay, so all things that we need to learn to do. To forget, to stop, and take a rest. Take a rest. Forget. It's like stop, drop, and roll. That's also coming up. Right? And roll has to do with go with the flow. So they're just saying that because that's an easier way to remember it. Stop, drop, and roll. So stop and go with the flow. That's what it's saying. Stop trying to be so busy and just forget it. Don't worry about it. Be happy. Right? Forget it. Be happy. And stop for a minute. And just roll. Roll with the flow. Right? Stop working. Stop working so hard. And then, of course, we have the bee who understands all of that, right? Because they got these tiny little wings trying to support that big old body all the time. That's really funny. And the bat, too, right? This is a mouse who doesn't realize they grew bat wings. As I tell you, the bee always comes up as the butterfly, right? Where they don't realize their wings. So here, where they're working so hard and radiating all this good energy of being very moderate, right, in the middle, because we got the green to green, we have the yellow to green to blue energies, which is the throat chakra, the heart chakra, and the solar plexus, right in the middle, right, being very balanced and moderate. But then here's the bat, which is the opposite, right? Here they got little tiny wings and a big body, and here they got this tiny little body with big wings they don't really need, right? And that's the red. That's the service to self and service to others. There you go. And then, of course, I love how they bring up the pairs here. This is contrast. There's labels and contrast so that you can see the difference, right? We have the vulture who cleans up the mess, right? But they're considered evil, right? Because they clean up the mess, but they have a purpose in that. And then here's the worm, right? No one even bothers with the worm. They're just sitting on the ground like a slug, right? But yet, look at all the colors they create. Like, don't judge a book by its cover, is what I'm getting there. And then the bottom of the deck, which of course is the golden egg, which is about the heart. Right? They all came from their mother. And there's the frog trying to grow to be the prince, right? They all came from a mother and just trying to figure out the world, to figure out their journey, their destination, their how to navigate that journey. Don't forget, no matter what they look like or what their names are, they all came from the same place. We all came from an egg or a mother, right? It's always a mother, in some respect, right? There's always a common thread, no matter how different you may think that other is. All right, so then we have the journey of love. Journey of love. So it's saying you don't want to be the bat or the bee. You want to be somewhere in the middle there. Stop, drop, and roll. Take a load off. Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own voice make you crazy, right? You may lose and you may win, but you will never be here again. You'll never be here again. So take it easy, and Spirit's connecting with me. All right, so the journey of love. Journey of love. Take another deep breath. Journey of love. Okay. Is dream a little. Dream a little dream of you. Okay, 51 is the King of Swords. But the 51 is the King of Swords, but the picture, the depiction is the feminine energy, right? Because they are as one. He may be coming up as number form here, and she's coming up as color form here, but it's still the same, especially in the dream, right? Putting the power here. Putting the power here, in the heart. The King of Swords. And there's the Mary Magdalene energy again. The buttercup yellow, the woman, it's like this is like an African woman carrying the weight of the world, in her daily practice. And then here is the M for the Mary Magdalene, knowing without knowing, and the 41 of the self-love, the spiritual love, and the new love. There's always room for more love. And you notice we have ones here, 51 and 41. 51, 41 is 92. There's another card that wants to come out here. Let's see. There's actually two more cards that want to come out. So first, this one's coming up, the 68 of the drop into your heart. So again, the chakra rays coming up here and here. And they're going in different directions, okay? You see how the shape of the spiral is this way here, but it's this way here. Okay, they're in opposite directions. This is drop into your heart and dream a little, right? They're two different directions. And then in the middle is knowing without knowing, which is self-love. Here's the 51, the King of Swords, of going in through your crown, and then the 68 of the Page of Pentacles, which is that childish energy of manifesting something here on earth, drop into your body, drop into your heart. So if you want to create something on earth, you have to drop into your heart. If you want to dream a little, you go through your crown, right? And if you want to stay in the middle, you can stay in that Mary Magdalene energy of knowing without knowing, of just being loved no matter where you are. And then that fourth card that's coming up is the Void. So it's, again, going back to the vortex, the void, the number 40 of the Page of Cups, which is that pure, innocent love. And again, this is resonating with the egg, right? Because they're really both the same thing. Going back to be birthed by mother again. The void. Okay, so the bottom of the deck is the light field, which all of those cards were very smooth in energy, but the light field is very rough and turbulent. It's like being in the cyclone, right? Being in the middle of the 4D bridge. The 63 is the suffering silence of the 9 of Swords, right? Where there's no way out at this point because you haven't gotten to the 10 yet, and you can't go back because the 8's prison too. So the 9 of Swords is like the worst card in the deck because you're stuck. You can't get out of it quite yet. Here's the light field. When you're exposed on the top of the bridge with no protection from the winds and the rain and the storm coming in, with the rings of time. Here's the old man in the wheelchair, right, with the bird, right, the old way of doing things, with the intellectual process as opposed to the heart-based process. Here's the 44 of having full control over everything, right, grounding, integrating, and mastering really of love, not control. The rings of time has to do with our ancestry and the makings of who we are today. And it's okay, though, to leave that behind because it's integrated into who we are. So it's still a part of us. So we're never giving up the old by not using the old. We are all of the olds combined in this light field of craziness here, where it's like all of a sudden a storm, when the cyclone whips up, it pulls all the dirt pieces into one. It's all a piece of it. But that doesn't mean you can't sit in the vortex and just enjoy it from a peaceful place. So we're going to read 51, which is the King of Swords. The 51, King of Swords. Dream a little. The divine wants to bless you with inspiration, just as a lover would come to the door of the beloved with a spontaneous gift of flowers as I start losing my voice, because they're afraid to say what they want to say. So dream a little. Let your imagination wander and wonder. What if? What else could be? Breaking down the rigid walls of expectation. Just because something has been does not indicate that it must continue in the same way. So again, it's talking about leaving the old behind. Things are not the same way they used to be, so let go of it all. You're not betraying anything from your family. You're still a culmination of all of those things. So you're not leaving it behind. It's a part of who you are today. So let go of the old to allow the new to come in. So dream a little and receive your spiritual gift. This oracle brings you a guidance. A spiritual gift of inspiration is on its way or has just recently been received. It isn't flight of fancy. It's a gift from the divine. Receive it and believe in new possibilities. And the poem reads, from unexpected meetings, we talked and shared our lifetime, a gentle, peaceful, quiet time, reflected in our smile. We winged our way to distant places and walked along remembered faces of lives we knew we lived some time before. And like a bud about to flower, having reached its appointed hour, we watch ourselves begin to open in the warm touch of spring. Okay. So make sure you drink your water, get your rest, get your joy, and get your nature. Be good to yourself and follow, ultimately, your own guidance system and pay attention. See what's going on around you and take a deep breath. Not just once, but every day. Breathe deeply to make sure you're fully aware and oxygenated. And of course, rise and be loved, guys. I'll see you soon. Have an amazing day. Bye.